I've got to post this link. Do you want to do the intro? What's
Yeah,
the post
so-
is? Not being ignorant.
2 intros in one. That feels special now.
Innit?
So 2 intros for Reiss. So back with Reiss. Reiss came in early on in that year, last year, around episode, you said around 25.
Yeah, it was episode 25.
But yeah, you just moved to Leeds at that time.
Yeah, so saying it was very much. So I literally been in Leeds for about a month or 2 months, I think. And so when I first spoke to you guys, it was very much just starting out in Leeds, growing my business here, and since then moved gyms, sort of built my business, and then had to restart again when I moved over gyms and stuff like that. You lose clients because it was very city centre based. Then moving sort of just on the edge of city centre and stuff like that, you lose clients and have to sort of start from scratch again. But at a point now, I'm really happy where I'm at, and sort of time now to start pushing on even further from here, which is cool.
So what gym, sorry, did you say?
So it's Graft House, which is on Kirkstall Road. So just where like the big leisure park is, just at the back of that. Really cool gym, independent, great atmosphere.
Equipment is
Facilities are class, yeah. So they got all like the stuff, all the cool stuff that people like using, like your sleds and curved treadmill and all that sort of stuff. Got all your racks and bits and bobs like that. It's a really cool place. You guys should come down and check it out at some point.
Yeah, if you want, you have to put us through the works and we'll come down for a session.
We were talking about this the other week, weren't we? I said we could do something like get you down, put you through a session that one of my guys do, and just film it and have some fun with it, which would be cool.
I'm worried but excited. I think I'm more likely to train with you than anyone else that's offered to train as a...
Yeah.
Do you get a lot of offers?
We get people that come on, they'll say, yeah, come and work out with like Will, but Will's like a tank.
Yeah.
It's frightening. Like there's no way I want to train with him.
I've seen what Reiss does to Mike and Mark the Casey, you look like you put them through hell.
Yeah, they always look fucked. So
yeah.
Either way.
They enjoy it. They might say they don't, but they do.
So you've been working on quite a lot of new bits now with the business.
Yes.
So let's dig into that a little bit more. Apart from sort of the PT, strength and conditioning, what else have you been adding to?
Do you know what, Mike? It's kind of got to a point now where like my plan sort of from 27 now, where I don't just want to have sort of just like one business. I want to build like an empire. Just by the time I'm 30, I just want to be set to just have various revenues coming in. So that's just what I'm doing now, and fully aware it's going to be like a hard slog for the next 3-4 years, but that's the point I want to get to. So alongside the strength conditioning, where I've got to a point where that's at sort of 90% combat athletes now. So even working with people like Smudge, bare knuckle boxing. So
oh shit, I've got you two linked up. Yeah.
So working with Thai boxers now, kickboxers, amateurs, pros, MMA, UFC with Mark and stuff like that. So just 90% of my client base now is combat athletes, which is cool. That's where I want it to be. And then alongside that, me and P at Golden Team, we just released like a boot camp that we're going to be starting, which is going to be good fun. So I want to make it a bit different, just have a real sort of community around it, make it fun, give people the chance to train like they're in a fight camp for 6 weeks. So real hard work, but you know, you guys know the gym down there, so you've met P and all the lads, and really good atmosphere, have some fun, do like an awards night at the end of it and stuff like that as well.
Nice. So the training itself then, is that going to be using P and yourself?
Yeah. So the plan is it's going to be 6 weeks, 4 sessions a week. They'll get 2 boxing sessions with P a week and 2 strength and conditioning sessions with myself for 6 weeks, and then what we plan to do is kind of do an awards night at the end, have a best transformation, do some prizes, awards, and take them all out for a few drinks and sort of celebrate the hard graft of the 6 weeks.
No, that should be big.
Yeah, that sounds sick. Yeah. Be nice as well, I think, for people to be in like a structured environment, and then but then have a group, because it's going to be a group. How many people are going to be on that course?
We're aiming for 20. 20 is going to be a good amount of numbers. So we just like, because boxing gyms get a bit of a bad name, but like as being really intimidating places to go and train, and there are some that are, when you walk in, like I've been to many, you kind of just like, I don't want to be here, this is very cliquey.
Don't know anyone.
And they're not very welcoming, whereas Golden Team's like class, like so welcoming, everyone's a big family, it's fun, whether you're fighting, whether you never want to fight ever, everyone's welcome, everyone trains together, so it'd be good just to get that bit of buzz and push on a little bit.
No, big. So some of your fighters have had some big fights, especially Mark, from his last fight. I was watching it at home. Like absolutely smashed.
Yeah, he fought well, didn't he?
So the training leading up to that fight, what was Mark's mindset like? Because I know that was a big fight for him.
Do you know, it was a tricky one, because he's openly said it himself. After losing 3 on the bounce in the UFC, he felt like he should have been dropped, like he wanted to, because he wanted to go and build himself again and come back. But he didn't, and he had this Joe Duffy fight, which is a big name. But his mindset was just win, lose, draw, whatever happens, just wants to go and actually perform as Mark, rather than letting anything get in the way, just go and have fun. And obviously combining that with the strength stuff we were doing, he said he felt strong again, felt like he could do what he needed to do. He said even in the cage when Duffy would get him down at certain times, he was just like, and he even said to his corner, I think it was in like the second round and stuff, when they were getting a bit worried, he was just like, he's weak. He actually says it during the fight, he's like, he can't do anything, he's weak. Right. And that was just a mindset. And I think Mark's a big, powerful, strong guy, so I think he needs to go in full of confidence and with that sort of clear mind in order to perform like that. And you saw it on fight night, like he was just performed like confidence level just off the scale. Like just a guy who knew that he'd worked harder than he had. And I think that's like with any fighter though, you know, just before you're going out to fight, if you've not put in the work, that's when all those insecurities are going to come out. If you go in with a clear mind, you just relax, you know you've done everything you can do, and you just sort of let the result take after itself.
Yeah. How much do you get involved in the mindset side with your fighters? Because like, you'll see them really frequently, and you'll know if they're having like they're feeling a bit tired or a bit shit or whatever. Like, do you ever kind of chime in or monitor that?
Massively. I do a lot of mindset stuff. I mean, for me, especially in combat sport, you have to be mentally prepared as well as physically. You see it so many times where a fight will get in the ring and all these fighters are in great shape. Like, they train hard, spar hundreds of rounds, and they're running fast and sprinting fast and all that sort of stuff. So they're obviously not in bad shape, but a lot of the time a fight will get in the ring and it's their mind that's the limiting factor. And that's going to be the case. You don't train your mind, that's always going to be your limiting factor. Your physical capabilities will get you so far, but your mind's the one that sets the potential, the level of how far you can get. Yeah. So I work on it a lot with my guys. You know, there's a lot of techniques we do, as you say, about judging when they're tired and giving them a boost and all that sort of stuff. But just in terms of self-belief, confidence, we do a lot of sort of stuff with that, like visualizations, sort of deep breathing techniques, meditation once they've sort of got into the swing of things a little bit more advanced, but meditation, goals board, all those sort of stuff that just builds belief and sets out their goals and builds the path towards it.
So how long ago and that, what brought like the mind side of things into it? Was it just natural progression of the PT and the way things were going, or was this something you wanted to do anyway?
Yeah, it's a bit of everything really. I think just from watching, especially combat sports, you just see how mind plays such a big part in camps. Like, people might think about the fight too much, start thinking that they're not as fit as they should be, not as strong as they could be, and all these little things over time will affect performance, whether you consciously aware of that or not. If you're repeatedly sort of having these subconscious thoughts and all these sort of nervous moments and negative thoughts, that's just going to come out in your performance. So I was kind of looking at it and I was like, yeah, there's a lot of these guys getting physically ready, but they need to be mentally ready, so that should be part of the training. Bringing them both together, that's going to create the complete athlete.
Nice. So what steps have you taken then, I guess, in terms of the mind? Have you had to, I guess, do any courses, or where are you getting your information from for the mind training?
So do a lot of sort of like reading, all these sort of mindset books and stuff like that. Podcasts are a really good one, listening to podcasts and what these guys do and stuff like that. And through using it myself, it's something I'm really big on. So I've got stuff like sort of morning routines and pre-bed routines and things that I do on a daily basis, and I've seen sort of to myself the effect it can have. And it's almost like, I guess, going to the gym a little bit. You know, you'll have people that are qualified, people that aren't, and all that sort of stuff. And I think the most important thing with it is you need to practice it every single day. You know, you won't go to the gym and be like, right, I've had one workout, why am I not ready to fight or run a marathon or anything like that? Like, you need to do it every single day, and you need to start small and build it up as you get stronger mentally. But yeah, so I'm just always reading, practice stuff on myself, almost just like with the physical stuff. It's exactly the same, but instead of the sort of workout stuff, it's just mind training.
Yeah, do you know what your big? We talk about it all the time. Do you know, like little hacks of that you can add to your life every day. Like, having a routine makes it so much easier to get things done. Like, you know, I've been trying to get up at 5 a.m. during a weekday, taking an hour to myself between 5 till 6, and then like getting all my work done in the first few hours, and then, you know, like just optimizing your life. And I guess in the fighting game, it's the same thing. Having routine.
100%. And you see all these like really successful people who always preach about sort of the routines and visualization, law of attraction, and all that sort of stuff. And you kind of look and you can't, like, they can't all be wrong. There must be a reason why all these successful people are doing it. But I guess it's one of them when you sort of speak to people and put it forward. If you're not open-minded about it, it can be like, well, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, you can't just think of something and then it happens and you get it. And because that's the most common thing you get. Someone will go, oh yeah, right, then I want a Ferrari. Why have I not got it? And that's what you get. And it's kind of
but there needs to be some substance behind it. I think with like there needs to be a goal. Like for example, Mark wants to be the best fighter out there, and if you've got that with the routine, and then you're adding these things, then it makes sense.
Absolutely, it's just belief, isn't it? That I think that's what it comes down. It's just belief that you can think something. Oh, you know, for me, for example, like, oh, I'd like to be the best strength and conditioning coach, combat athletes in the world, for example. But do I actually believe that's going to happen? If I don't, then it won't happen. If I do, and through all those little techniques, and I tell myself I am the best in the world already, and I carry myself like I am the best in the world, and I act as if I am the best in the world, then I'll start to believe that. And when you believe in that, everything else starts to fall into place, and you can actually achieve that goal at the end of it.
Yeah, I think that is the best way to look at it, is to have a set out, have a goal, and then just affirm that confidence, because it grows over time. You see it in people all the time, like with confidence grows, and you just see like they just transform as a person.
And it's not through a place of like arrogance either. That's I think the important thing.
Yeah,
it's just through, you just have to have that mindset. Like for myself, like I just said, like even today, I'll tell myself I am the best for combat athletes in the world. No one better than me, and it's not from a place of arrogance. It's just the way I have to have it in my mind. As soon as I, for a second, think there's someone better than me, I'll put my limitation out, and I've sort of in my mind already said, oh, there's actually someone a bit better than me, or maybe not quite as good as you. So I have to have that mindset that I am the best bar no one, and that's just the way I have to be all the time. My
side of it is sometimes you have to know how to deal with having negative thoughts, because you will have negative thoughts. Like if you go through so I always relate it to like back to sales, because it's what we do for a living. But it's like if you go through a patch where like maybe your calls out that great, or this, that and the other's not clicking that much, you can think, oh, do you know what? Maybe I'm not the best salesperson in the world. But then other times it's like, well, all right, you know, catch yourself thinking that. It's kind of like if you can train yourself to catch yourself in those moments, and then you can kind of press reset. That's
exactly it. And I had something similar when I moved over gyms. It was them negative thoughts that you were talking about, exactly the same, where I lost more clients than I thought I would with the change. People couldn't make it and stuff like that. And I was in that same, it's funny actually, because I was in the same position when I was on the last podcast and said move to Leeds, got a month to get clients. I was in that exact same position when I moved over gyms, and I was like, right, I've used my savings for the first month of bills and rent and stuff like that, and now I've got a month to get my shit sorted basically. And through that month it was literally, you have those negative thoughts, you're like, I don't think it's actually going to happen, like, and then all of a sudden I'm like, right, what else can I do, what job can I get, I'm going to have to probably pack this in if I can't get it. It's just like all that sort of stuff. And it is, as soon as you let that snowball, you can't get out of it. So it is just sort of cutting it in the sauce, being like, right, control it, what can I actually do to make it better, rather than, oh no, I'm done, what, having all those
it compounds both ways. That's the thing. What people don't realize, like it can compound terribly, or it can compound in a constructive way.
Exactly.
And people forget that. It's like, oh, I'm feeling a bit this and that. It's like, all right, right now, but in a month, or 6 months, because that's it. That's like we went back to before. Like seeing from the outside looking in, you can really like see people's progression, because they kind of don't see it in themselves.
No.
Like to see you now and see you when we first met you, you can literally, like, even when you got in my car earlier, like I could kind of tell like you were killing it. Like you had a bit of a, like your presence was a bit more, I don't know, like you're always like a lively guy anyway.
Yeah.
But I just had like, it was like a different, I don't know, I had like a different feeling.
Yeah, I don't know what you mean. Like you can just, they always say like these successful people, they just fill a room, or they'll sort of own a room and stuff like that. And I think it's just the confidence thing. And I think with the confidence thing as well, a lot of people think like confidence is a personality trait, when it's completely not. It's a skill. And like any other skill, you can just work on it. And the more you act confident, the more confident you'll be. And I think that's just something that through doing all that mindset stuff on myself, that's just something that's starting to come through now a lot of the time.
No, big. So on mindset then, so what are the things that you've included in your daily routine that you're working on?
So very similar to yourself. Like I'm up at 5 o'clock every day, and the first 10 minutes is always exactly the same. So I go into the living room. I'll do sort of 10 deep breath techniques. Go into gratitude. So just think of 2 things that I'm really grateful for. They can be something really stupid. They can be something really deep. Whatever. It doesn't really matter. I'll do one thing I want to complete that day, and then I'll sit there for 5 minutes and just close my eyes and really visualize my endpoint, where I want to be, but like really deeply. So like what the weather's like, what house am I in, what car do I get in when I go to work, what gym I am in, what people am I training, what am I eating for lunch, like real deep stuff. And that's always the same. And then during the last part of my day, the last 10 minutes will always be something very similar, just like something I'm grateful for, a little bit of reading of some kind, and then sort of just go to sleep straight from that.
No, boom. You mentioned breathing techniques then. Breathing technique is something that's come across quite a lot into quite a few books that I've read, and it's something I'm trying to do as well, because I notice that I shallow breathe quite a lot.
Yeah.
So kind of like panting like that, and not taking full breaths and kind of relaxing myself. Why have you incorporated that breathing technique into your routine?
It's just gets me so chilled.
Yeah.
That's more like, as you say, we all shallow breath. As soon as you really slow down the heart rate, take nice deep breaths through your nose, let your stomach puff out as you're breathing in. Often when people breathe in, they breathe stomach inwards rather than out. So to compare that, and it's just really good. Like you literally, as you start slowing the breath down, you'll feel any stress is kind of leaving you. It sounds weird until you try it, but it'll just really, really chill you out. And I mostly do it just because it puts me in the right state of mind before I go into all that visualization stuff, where the stuff I'm doing can really sort of go into my subconscious and really have an impact on my actions and reactions and all that sort of stuff.
Big.
No, it makes sense. I've not tried it, but what's kind of sparked your
Do you know what
your view into it?
Wim Hof, so the guy that on Stevie Ward's podcast, he talks a lot about these breathing techniques. And
it's well famous right now.
Yeah, he's well famous for.
He's on the extreme level though, isn't he?
Yeah,
he's just
he's ran a marathon. What did he do? He ran went up of Everest in just some shots.
Yeah. He does all like the sort of cold water immersion and stuff like that, which I actually try and do maybe 3 times a week, but just not to that extreme. That's just, he's on a different level of stuff. Just crazy. So I do try and do like cold baths or cold showers 3 times a week, just to kind of like mental stuff again. Just
again. Well, are you still doing the cold showers?
Do you know what? I do it now as it's like a hack. Like if I really need to be on it, I'll bang a cold shower in. But generally speaking, it's like a lukewarm shower. It's not cold now. It's like it's only felt like a SOS. Like I really need it.
I really like them. Like I have a cold shower and I'm like, I don't want to get in anyway. Then I'm like, I want to get out, but I stay in. And I get out, and I swear to God, as soon as I've had that even like 2-minute cold shower, I feel like I can take over the world. Honestly, I get out, I'm like, let's get shit done now. We're gonna go get shit done now. I try and do it, but I do really like them.
Do you know what, it was Liam Harrison who mentioned it. They actually used to use cold showers or immersion people in cold water to get rid of like depression and things.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Really?
Yeah, like, they used to back in the day they dip like patients that was suffering from like anxiety into like deep cold water to like kind of shake them out of it. Whether it works or not, I don't know. I've not looked at the science behind it, but people did do that.
I guess it definitely channel your thoughts only into a specific point, though, wouldn't it? It's like meditation. Like it's just channeling your thoughts onto something super simple, like it's taking your mind away.
When you get into the water, when it's so cold, you can't think of anything else apart from trying to control your breathing, because you get that whole like I can't breathe, it's cold. So that's the only thing you focus on. So your mind just gets clear. That's why I realize if you're like stressing over anything or anxious, if you jump in a cold shower, but you can't think about it, and it just kind of resets you a little bit, which is pretty good.
If you had to start off, someone's listening now, and you had to say they don't do anything like that, what would you recommend is the best first step into something like that?
So as we were saying, it's literally like going to the gym. So someone who wasn't going to the gym, you wouldn't say, right, start go squatting your body weight and all that sort of stuff. Got to build it up. I would say visualization is really simple, really cool one to do, to include for 5 minutes, just thinking about your goals and all that sort of stuff.
Do you know, on there, to break that down even more, what can visualization be used for?
So it's just almost just like picturing your perfect day, almost like your endpoint. What do you actually really want? And it's going back to when people say, oh, I really want a Ferrari and stuff like that. They don't really want that. There'll be something they really want and they really believe they can have. And so that's what I would do. Just sort of think about, you know, what's your perfect house, your perfect job? What do you do with the kids? Do you have any kids? All that sort of stuff. What was your routine look like? Another really simple one is just writing down 3 affirmations. So just 3 sentences on a bit of paper that you stick on the wall that every time you go past, you just say to yourself in your head, you know, whatever it is. If you've got a job interview coming up, I will get the job. I am good enough to be the manager of that, or whatever it is. Just keep repeating them, as opposed to having those negative thoughts, oh, I'm not good enough, and don't think I'm going to get this job. It's the complete opposite of that.
Because naturally as humans, we're good at doing the opposite. So, oh, I'm really fat. Oh, I shouldn't eat this. But doing the opposite of, oh, I'm actually alright at this, I'm good. We don't do that as much. We tend to I guess focus a little bit more on the negative than the positive, and training yourself to be positive. It feels like you said, it feels like you're being big-headed. You're not really, are you?
It's almost like just a reprogramming. If you think throughout the years you've had all those little sort of negative sentences and stuff like that, so that's what your program is. That's what your subconscious, your habits and all that sort of stuff is. So obviously it takes time, but you can reprogram it. So your natural responses and stuff is that confidence. So yeah, that's a really simple one, just to write down 3 affirmations. Just keep repeating them to yourself, keep repeating them. And then I'd say a really simple one, which is probably my favourite one out of all of them, is just a goals board with pictures on rather than words. It's really, really cool how it works, actually. So do you know, I always use this example, but have you ever, when you got your BMW, you got your car, and then all of a sudden every single person you drive by has got that same car, like you notice it everywhere, like, and it's a really good example. It's exactly the same as why a goals board works. So before you got that car, it doesn't have any meaning to you. So your brain doesn't process the information of seeing it. You would have seen it still, but brain just gets rid of it. It's no relevance. As soon as you buy that car, it has a meaning to yourself. So when you go and see it, your brain now registers it. And a goals board works the same way. If you put pictures up and start looking at them every day, if you put it next to your bed and stuff like that, those pictures start to have meaning to your life. So when you're out and about and those little opportunities that are linked to those pictures, you'll process them and notice them. So any opportunities that arise, you'll start to process and see them. It's a really, really simple, powerful tool to do, but like crazy how it works, real crazy. I think the best example is what happened to me was when recently I've been moving to about getting a dog and blah, blah, blah in a few years and stuff like that. And for some reason I was just like, oh, I really want a boxer. I don't know why. And every time I was going out, I was always seeing him out and about and blah, blah, blah. And it weren't until I went back and was looking at my goals board again one night that the picture of the dog, random dog that I'd printed out ages ago and stuck on, was a boxer. And it was just random stuff like that. Like, it is cool. It is really. And again, I guess it's one of those things where people hate to say, like, oh, that's stupid. But it does work. It really does. It's cool.
Yeah, that's it. I think that's it. And I think sometimes people feel a bit guilty about making goals. Like if you want something and it's material, just be comfortable with that.
Yeah.
Just don't be shy of it. But the affirmation thing, I do get it, write it down. But I went through a stage of trying to say it out loud, like I used to say it in my car.
Yeah.
And at first when I started, I didn't even say it out loud. And then I was like, what are you fucking worried about? Like, if I drove past someone and I thought, maybe they'd actually hear me. Like, if I left my house, I'll be doing it, on the way to the gym or whatever. And then I'd be, kind of shy, someone's there. Maybe I'm not going to say it that loud. And then I had, not an argument with myself. It sounds a bit nuts, but I had, what the fuck are you worried about this guy you don't even know, judging you for wanting to do X, Y, Z that maybe is going to help you, progress in your life. And people worry about that stuff so much. And I was just like, fucking hell, I bet loads of people feel like this.
It is, and I think there's a real thing where people are scared to say their goals out loud. You're 100% right. And even more powerful than then saying it to yourself is to go and tell someone else your goals. That's even more powerful. Because then you've almost got an accountability thing where you're like, right, I've told him that's what I want to do. If I don't do that, I'm not like an idiot sort of thing. Yeah. But people are scared to do that. People will say, to themselves, they might say, I want to do X, Y, and Z. But they don't want to say it out loud. But the issue with that is the only reason they're not saying it out loud is because they don't think it's going to happen. Because whatever goals you say, you two got your goals, and I said to you, right, it's a guarantee. I've seen into the future, 100%. That's going to come true. You tell everyone. as soon as you don't want to tell anyone because you're scared it's not going to happen, you don't actually believe it is going to happen. And that's why you see like people like Conor McGregor. He says he'll tell everyone like I'm going to win 2 UFC belts, and he'll say it because he honestly believes in it. There's a guarantee to him, so he's not losing anything because it's going to happen. It's a guarantee.
So with that then, marrying up with having the goals and the accountability with it, how do you follow up with that? And is that something you teach your fighters, have been accountable to your goals and how to follow up on them, whether it's daily, weekly, monthly?
Yeah, so I guess I'm the accountability because I just badger them. Have you done this? Have you done your visualization? Have you done this? Have you done? And you know when they haven't, because when it comes to fight night and we then do visualization and stuff like that, you can see if they've not done it.
It's a bit alien to them.
Yeah, it's just not natural. It's not sort of stuff like that. So, but even for myself, I find it's always better to have someone else hold you accountable. That's why I've done mentorships where he's held me accountable, and you just get a lot more done. They all do that, but yeah, I guess I'm the thing that holds them accountable because I just literally send them over to have you done it, have you done it, have you done it, and eventually they do it. And if they don't, they're normally quite honest about it. But you know, you're only going to get out what you put in. So if they don't want to do it, fine. But at the same time, you wouldn't then not come to one of the strength sessions if you want to be in peak condition for your fight. So if you want to be mentally ready, and you need to do it as well.
Makes
so
sense, right?
Yeah, big
so
time.
with your own accountability then, you mentioned mentor. How often do you follow up on yourself and look at your processes? How can I make things better? How do you do that for yourself?
Do you know what? So for me, it's probably something I could improve on a lot. Sort of self-reflecting and being, what can I do? But I'd say at the end, maybe every other month, I might sit down and go, right, what can I do better now? I've got a few like things I want to work on, but a lot of stuff gets put to the background. And I'll be honest, it's probably when something goes balls up that I'm like, right, why has that happened, and what can I do to make it not happen? That's kind of how I work. I'll kind of just keep rolling with stuff, and then if something goes completely wrong, I'll be like, right, shit, why has that gone wrong? Could probably be a bit more proactive and that sort of thing, but at the moment I'm very much like, if it's not broke, don't fix it sort of thing. Just roll with it, and then if something does go wrong, then reflect on it, see what went wrong and what I can actually do to prevent that from happening again.
Yeah, do you know what? It's hard. I think people relate to it, and like it's good that you're honest, because I think personal accountability for anyone is so hard, because you don't want to be your own harshest critic. Like people beat themselves up about little things. Yeah. When it comes to something that's maybe going to make a difference in their life, they will just be like, Like I get out of habits of doing stuff that I know is good for me all the time. Like reading, like I've binned it off for ages. Yeah. Now I've like picked it back up. Doing gratitude stuff in the morning, like little things. I was just like, and then. Like,
but the thing is, you feel better when you do it, right?
Yeah. Sometimes I think it's weird. Like I don't know if it's like just being human that you just want to. There's like a little devil on your shoulder. It's like just don't do it. Don't do it. Like it's so weird how you work. Like you'll do something consistent for so long, and it's like there'll be like a point. It's like a crossroads where that one morning you don't want to do it, and that's that crossroads. Like if you don't do it now, you might just never do it again, or you bridge that gap, carry on, persist through.
And I think that's what separates the people up there to the people who don't think. There's times when they don't want to do it. I think, everyone always thinks like these really successful people, like they just love hard work and they really enjoy it, and they don't not like things. Whereas they'll, just like us, they'll have days when they don't want to do anything, and they'll have days when they don't want to do their routine stuff, but they do it anyway, and that's what separates them, and that's why they are where they are. Yeah. And I think that's kind of the most important thing, when people kind of use it as an excuse like, oh, but that's so-and-so, his motivation's off the scale, or, his drive's so big. No, he's just like us. He doesn't want to do shit sometimes, or she doesn't want to do anything sometimes, but they do it anyway, and they grind it out and they get through it. And I always think to myself, like, there's days when I might not want to, I don't know, send email or whatever, and I always think this could be the day actually when it leads somewhere. And if I don't do it now, maybe that opportunity's passed, sort of thing. I always feel like the next time I do something could be the time it works out, and that's the way I kind of keep pushing through it.
Yeah, persistence is a big one. But what I wanted to go back onto was like motivation. When motivation dries up for fighters or people that you work with, like how do you tackle that? Because motivation's not a consistent state either. So how do you address that?
I always think motivation's a bit of bit rubbish, really. I always think, because if you actually look what motivation is, it's doing things you want to do. So
is that its definition?
Well, I just
I guess it's pretty.
But that's what it is. You're motivated to do something that you want to do. But what's going to make the difference is doing the stuff you don't want to do. So I always say to my guys and clients and stuff like that, like, scrap motivation. Motivation's going to go up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. Discipline's what you need. So when that motivation drops, it's the discipline that gets you through it. So discipline's like 100 times more important than motivation. Motivation's not always going to be there. If you can be disciplined and have your routines where motivation's down, but you can autopilot through things because you know what your routine is, that's what's going to get you through it.
That's it, having a baseline, right? Like,
hit the nail on the head.
And that's why the routines are great, because it's almost something you can fall back on and just be like, right, I can't be arsed, but that's first, that's second, that's third. All of a sudden you've started doing stuff, you're in the flow, and you get through it. Yeah,
that's, you know what, you've hit the nail on the head. It is discipline. I think discipline is probably 90% of it. Motivation, like how often are you motivated to train? How often are you motivated to do X, Y, Z? It's a discipline that really gets you there. So most of the time, it's like, this is a necessary vehicle to get me to where I need to be. It's like your boxers. A lot of them probably don't want to come and get smashed by you for how long are these sessions? Like a couple of hours?
Hour and a half.
Yeah, exactly. They could think of way better things to be doing in an hour and a half. But it's that discipline, and then that's tied to an end goal to get there. Yeah.
It's even like when I'm training myself, like I hate training. Like, I don't like, unless I've got a fight coming up, I can't train. I just don't enjoy it. I need like an end goal to aim for. And even then, like, there's times it might be in the middle of winter and it's raining, you got to go for your run. But what kind of gets me through it is the discipline side, but also knowing, like, my opponent could be at home going, you know what, scrap this, it's raining, I'm staying in, and I'm getting in the extra miles. And that's going into, especially in combat sports, again, having that one up that I couldn't have done anymore is going to get you through your fights. That's a real key one. The last thing you want going into a fight, or anything really, whether it's an exam or whatever, is to have those regrets of, could have done more. And you've got to weigh it up. When you get to that point, you're going to wish you'd done more, so just do more now. Like, that's the worst position, when you get to it and you're like, should have done more. Should have done more. That regret will eat you alive. So just get through it.
Yeah.
But do you know, in that respect, Josh Warrington and Jack Basin have both said the same thing. Train hard. Yeah. And the fight comes in.
Exactly. That's exactly it.
Yeah. That's a big one that comes up with fighters more and more and more. Isn't it? Like, just, I guess it must be easier, but it's so transferable to life, like boxing, the gym, training, that sort of stuff. But like, every time you say it, the motivation, the discipline is always tied to something. Like, if you're just doing a thing, but there's no substance to it or no purpose to the end of it, you will fuck it off eventually. You will bin it off.
There needs to be like some sort of progression. You're tracking it. Where's it going? Why am I doing it?
Exactly. Yeah. And that's why it's always really important as well that you just kind of like follow your passions as well, because the amount of hard work and discipline you need to be successful in something, you can't put that amount in unless it's your biggest passion. You just can't. Like, if doing what I was doing wasn't my biggest passion, I wouldn't be asked to do it, like early mornings, late nights, and I just wouldn't be bothered. Like, it has to be the thing that you're most passionate about, and if it's not, that discipline will drop off. I think it's as simple as that. And like, I think obviously it's people kind of be really easy, like, oh no, things will get better and, you know, you'll get through it and stuff like that. But it's hard work. Whatever you're going to do is hard work, and if it's not your biggest passion, then you'll get found out.
Do you know what, you're right? And the way we can kind of vouch for that with the podcast, we've had shitloads of ups and downs. Like, we could have quite easily, when we bought those shitty mics at first, and said, nah, we're going to quit here, we don't want to do it.
Or like when we literally, the laptop died when we was recording with Jack Bates, and
that's it.
It's like 45 minutes just gone.
All right.
I had to like restart. Yeah. That was like, what, second, third?
Third podcasting. But with these things, like I say, there needs to be some sort of driving factor, passion behind why you're doing it, whether it's you want to make money, whether you want to be the best boxer out there. There needs to be passion. And it's more than just a goal behind it. 100%.
100%. It's, and like you say, there's going to be failures whatever you do along the way, but everyone always thinks that you fail once, that's it, game over sort of thing. But like, that's part of it. And, and you know, I always find the failures are actually the most exciting part of what you're doing. Like, you know, when you've had like a really bad week, it's all gone wrong, and then all of a sudden things start working out again. That little rebound from a failure when you're starting to actually see things are picking up and stuff like that's the most exciting part. And I was reading a book before, and it was actually saying like your end goal's not the most exciting point. Once you're there. It's the journey when you can actually see your life changing and things are getting better and you're earning more money and you're getting nice or whatever it is going on. That's the most exciting part of it, but it only comes from failures. So
yeah, you can fail forwards. Like it's how you respond to it.
Exactly.
Like 1,000%. Like if you fail, something goes wrong. So if you sit down and then really like you can analyze it and say, all right, this happened, or you can just feel like give them that pity party and you know really regress from there. So
that's exactly it. And that with the failing sort of thing, it's like it's actually a good thing because if you're trying out, there's 100 ways to do something and you failed at one, well then you know that's not the one, and now your chances have gone from 1 in 100 working to 1 in 99. And you actually got better odds of it working now. So I think it's just the way you look at it, isn't it?
Big time.
Yeah, it's like Thomas Edison when he was inventing the light bulb, wasn't it? He made like 999, and he was like, "It's just 999 ways that don't work or something." Like he spun it in a way that was like a positive. Like I found 900 ways that it's not going to work, and then like, obviously stumbled across
and that's what we were going back to, just saying the next time can always be the time it works. So you just got to keep pushing through because it literally could be that next time, whatever you're doing, next phone call, next email, next door, you know, from whatever, it could be that time.
Big time. And I think some people like can find it hard to take it because like some people are more motivated than others, or more driven, or more aspirational, or whatever, and it's fine. Like each to their own. It's not a big deal. But I think even to set small goals in trivial things will probably do a lot for people's mental health. Like it actually would. Like like Tyson Fury, to go back to boxing, when he was on Joe Rogan, he literally said like he got to the peak. He was the guy, and then that's when his life went to shit because he'd done everything and there was nothing to work towards, and he just spiraled. And then now it's like a different, like coming back, having another goal, and it's so transferable to
and I think
everyone's
that's a
life.
good example because I think that's what separates like the guys that are good and like the people that are like great. That when they hit the top and they're in that, you know, comfortable position, that they kick on again. Like even for myself, you get, say in the job that I do, you get to a point where you're like happy and you've got enough clients and all that sort of stuff. You get comfortable and you might take your foot off the gas a little bit, and then before you know it, you've lost a few clients or your content's not as good as it was and all that sort of stuff. The real great people, they're at that point where they're like, right, this is great, and then they find another gear and they push on again. They push on when there's no need to push on, and I think that's something I'm trying to do a lot more now because I'm very guilty of getting comfortable and then just taking my foot off the gas a little bit. So what I'm trying to do now is when you get to a point where you are comfortable, try and find something new, find a new way to improve, and that's what all the great people do.
Yeah, you're right. How do you deal with it? Because like sometimes like I'm never satisfied. Like I'd never be satisfied. Like if I listen to podcasts back, I think, oh, it could have been better. Could have asked that. Could have done this. And that's why gratitude's good for me, because it keeps me like, oh, there is some good shit around. But like, what about you?
I will self-pity a little bit. No, depending on what the goal is or what the task is, I will self-pity a little bit, but then I'll snap straight out of that, and I don't know, that kind of turns into my motivation because I look at myself, I like take a 30,000 foot view, you know, from above. Where am I going to be in the next 5-10 years? Do I really want this? Okay, what am I doing? And that kind of fires me up again. And I guess going back to the whole accountability thing, like with the podcast, being with you, seeing you, and then reshuffling the ideas, that's what picks me back up and keeps me going.
Yeah.
So reflecting, a little bit of self-love, and then seeing the bigger picture.
Yeah,
you know?
It's healthy if you can like manipulate it into like a bit of energy and something to do. Yeah, I think it's always a positive.
Feelings at the end of the day, they are going to come up and come down. It's just being able to, I guess, to manage them.
Like, have you worked with a fighter that's come off the back of a loss, and then work with, and because you've worked with fighters that are unbeaten, and you've worked with fighters that have lost. Do you ever see a difference in like the way, if people are winning, is it easier? If they're losing, are they more motivated? Like, do you ever see a trend in how?
Do you know what? I think it's so person dependent. So person dependent. I think it's like anything. Like, if you've got someone who's at the top, they're undefeated, they might be like, right, I want to be the best ever now and keep it going. Whereas they might go the other way and be like, all right, get a bit arrogant or whatever. Or someone who's had a couple of losses or something like that, they might have the motivation to be like, right, I'm going to prove everyone wrong. Whereas someone else might be like, oh God, am I really good enough? It's so dependent person to person. I don't think there's like a one rule for everyone sort of thing. I think it is just down to them as a person, and I guess how strong they are mentally more than anything, which just goes back to why they should sort of have that sort of mindset training as a regular thing.
Yeah. So you're working on more mindset stuff now. What does that encompass? What are you doing? Who are you targeting, or like what's the vision of the project?
One of my colleague friend, we've got a business called Bind, which is Bind Wellbeing. So it's basically going into corporate companies. We found that with a lot of our clients, they're in these really high stress jobs and stuff like that, and being stressed and stuff like that was the norm, where it shouldn't be. So we go into corporate companies, just make them aware of what thoughts and feelings they're having, just because a lot of people aren't aware that they're stressed, aren't aware of the negative thoughts and all that sort of stuff. So what we do is provide sort of 6-week courses where we dive into it, do some stress management, help them out with like time management and all these little routines, sort of teach them about the subconscious mind and the conscious mind, and then start implementing all these like routines and affirmations and help them get a better work-to-life personal life balance, and dealing with setbacks and all that sort of stuff. Just making people more robust, and just how sort of modern day life is with social media especially and stuff like that. It's hard to stay positive and to not compare yourself to someone else. Like you wake up 7 o'clock in the morning, you go on Instagram and someone's on holiday. All of a sudden, your first 10 seconds of your day started with, I wish I was on holiday. Do you know what I mean? It's that sort of thing where we are now. Within 10 seconds of your day, as you say, look outside, it's raining, and you've seen someone on holiday in the sun. You're like, oh, I wish I was on holiday. Can't be asked for today. And all of a sudden, you're just in that cycle of negativity. So it's just trying to just make people aware of that and how they can actually deal with it.
I also think now is probably a time in evolution where it's more important to incorporate that than ever. I mean, you go back 50, 60 years ago, people would go to the 9 till 5, come back home, and that'd be it. There'd be nothing else. They wouldn't be looking at anything else. They'd be mindful about what they do and have their tea, cook their food, and because you're not worrying about anything else, it's bliss. Ignorance bliss. You're not worrying about anything. But now everything's happening. Social media. You're seeing your friends is doing better, and it is very easy to end up in it.
Yeah, I just think the whole social is so weird. Like, I just find it very strange as a thing. Like, I'm big on it for work wise, but my personal, if it was down to me, I would just never use it. I just don't get like people so concerned in taking pictures to show everyone else rather than just seeing it for themselves and all that sort of stuff. It's hard, and I think it'll probably only carry on getting more sort of developed and stuff like that. Like, it's mad if you think maybe like from when we used to have to dial up to the internet and go on AOL to like go on to MSN, and that's only what 10, 14 years ago or something like that. So imagine where we're going to be in 10, 14 years. Like, I can't even imagine.
It's going to be mad.
That's it. Even like podcasts, like people listen to podcasts a lot more now. That wasn't a thing before. Like, the way people take information is just completely changed, and the world's changing, and people have to adapt. And adding mindfulness to your days, it might sound a little bit silly, but it does help.
Massively.
Yeah, that's it. And we've had people on the podcast that have kind of gone into that and spoken about mindfulness and mental health and that sort of stuff. And then it's kind of the positive side of social media. I think at first it was just like, it depends. Like, my argument is like you can follow who you want to follow. You dictate what you see, and you dictate how you take it in. And then, but I've read books on like a book called Factfulness, which is pretty good about critical thinking. It's just about the way you view the world. But it's like, view a situation, like you say, like, oh, this, like you see The Rock on Instagram. He takes 9-hour flight and he's got a Stairmaster in his hotel room, and he does that for an hour. Yeah, great. Probably don't want to do it, but he's on Instagram for 60 seconds telling you that you've got to go, kill it, hustle, do all this stuff. Be realistic. No one feels like that every single day. People get tired. He's human. You're human. Like, just step back for 1 second, and then maybe you'll feel a bit better about it. But I've only started to do it recently.
I think one of the easiest things you can do to sort of help with that is just, I've done it recently. Just go through your Instagram followers, and anyone that's not adding anything to your life, like in a positive way, just unfollow them. And honestly, you'll feel like so much better when you're not seeing those little things that annoy you or make you negative. That just get rid of them. Like, that's such a simple thing to do, but it will help massively, massively.
Big time.
I think, like you said as well, there's no perfect technique for this. I think it's everyone has their own. They have to be able to look at themselves and incorporate these things according to them. But with that, you had one thing I wanted to touch on with you. You had a boxing fight.
Yes.
What was that about?
So I do a bit of unlicensed stuff. Like I don't know how many I've had now. Maybe like 10.
Because I know you had a few.
What's unlicensed? It sounds so dodgy.
It
unlicensed.
Yeah, it sounds real like underground, though.
It makes me think of Snatch.
Yeah, that's literally what I think. It's basically like so no head guard, 8-ounce gloves, 10-ounce gloves, 2-minute rounds. I don't know. It's basically it's just not licensed by a governing body, so it's not professional.
So you're not pros.
Right? Just not good enough to be pros.
You get hit in the head with no head.
Same gloves, sizes, and all that sort of stuff. 2-minute rounds.
So it's like not like white collar, but similar.
Yeah. So I guess you would call it like if there was an equivalent of semi-pro, but it's not because the standard varies so much. Like you get some guys that are pretty good, some guys that are absolutely awful. But I guess that would be the equivalent of being like semi-pro football or something like that.
Makes sense.
But yeah, it's good fun. Like for guys that like me, who enjoy fighting but aren't good enough to be pro or anything like that, it's quite good to be able to fight still.
Boom. So you won that last fight?
Yes, won the last one, which was quite cool. Actually, it was good. Really enjoyed it. Hopefully, be fighting in Leeds in November. Hopefully.
And what's that for? Is that like to give you a goal, give you something to work towards? Like, what's the reason that you do it?
I just love fighting.
Oh, really?
Like, it's weird.
You seem like such a nice guy. It's such a weird thing to hear come out of your mouth.
Yeah, I know. It's just the one thing that gets me like really excited to do, sort of sports-wise. Like, always played football growing up, and then gave up football, and it just doesn't excite me anymore. Like playing football.
It's that competition side. Maybe.
Yeah, I just find it like the training's really hard. Mentally, it's hard. Like you go in the ring, someone who wants to knock you out. Like that's tough, and it's only you there. You can't rely on anyone else, and I think it just shows you like how mentally strong you are, how physically strong you are, and all that sort of teaches great discipline. And boxing as a sport, I just really love for a whole host of things. Whether you want to fight or you don't want to fight, just the discipline it teaches you, and you find out a lot about yourselves. You know, like during a fight when your heart's like pounding and you still got 2 rounds to go, and you know, are you going to keep going? Or are you going to look for an excuse to get out, sort of thing? Like, it's that sort of thing I really like, just the competition with myself. Like, kind of like, just to be like, am I tough enough to get through this? And that's why I quite like it. Yeah.
I think it must be quite humbling in boxing, though. Because there's always going to be someone out there that's better than you, punches harder. Better, and it's like, you can treat people like that in life. It's like, you shouldn't really judge someone.
Because I've always had, speaking of that, I've always had a pretty good chin. And then I always thought, like, someone at my weight class at this level definitely can't hurt me. And when I got back from New Zealand, first round, got absolutely sparkoed. Got up, carried on fighting, but at that point I just thought, okay, yeah, as you say, very humbling. Yeah, got up, saw about four of the refs telling me if I wanted to go on. I was like, yeah, nod to the middle.
You
one.
post that video up.
Yeah. Nod to the middle one and get on with it. But as you say, very humbling. Like just in that way, and also like just generally like fitness-wise, there's always going to be someone better than you, and it just kind of keeps you on a straight and narrow as well. I think keeps you honest, stops me drinking for a few weekends as well while I'm training. So.
Keeps you accountable.
Exactly, yeah.
So we're touching up on our last 10 minutes of the podcast, and I just wanted to touch a little bit more about this boot camp that you got coming up. So I know the places are filling up fast for that. Yeah. Let's dig into that. So,
so it got to a point where me and P work really closely together now. Got a really good relationship, really cool gym. And we wanted to kind of, as we just talked about, boxing is such a good sport for discipline and stuff like that. And we wanted to offer something that people who don't want to fight could still have the training experience. Often they can't.
Mixed? Have you got girls?
So it's going to be mixed, any levels, men, women. So it's going to almost be like for 6 weeks they're in a fight camp. So they're training 4 times a week, group of 20, 2 boxing sessions with P, 2 strength and conditioning sessions with myself. And then we'll be doing all like the nutrition side of stuff for them, giving them recipe books, literally everything. We'll be doing like weigh-ins as well at the start and the finish, giving them content, all that sort of stuff. But as we say, just giving the general public a chance to be part of like a really good sport. For people that are struggling, maybe that hate the gym, because you don't have to be in a gym to just do something you enjoy. So we'll be doing that, but we really want to make it like a big community. So gonna have fun with it. Gonna do like best transformations, getting prizes, and having awards night, get suited and booted, and sort of bring everyone together, have some fun. box, learn skills, lose weight, get fitter, get stronger, and all that sort of stuff. So I'm really looking forward to it. It should be really good fun.
No, we'll have to get you and P and both in for that.
Yeah.
That'll be class.
Find out how that's going.
Yeah, no, that'd be good. It's I'm really excited for it. Like, it's just, I feel like it's something that a lot of people can benefit from.
Whether well, that's it. If listeners are out there, they fancy it, they want an upwards trajectory,
let's get in touch.
Hit Reiss up. So how many spots have you got left? Because this is going to go out pretty much.
Yeah, so I think pretty much got about 10 of the 20 that people are like, yeah, we'll jump on it, sort of thing. So it's filling up really quickly, but yeah, so if you do want to get in, like, just get in touch. It'll be really good fun. Like, I'm so excited for it. It's gonna be great.
So what do they get with that? What do they like break down into it a bit more? It's like sessions wise.
Yeah, so you get 6 weeks. You'll get 4 sessions a week. As I said, the 2 boxing, 2 strength sessions. So people will be doing like 1-to-1 pads with people during it, the bag work, all that sort of stuff. I'll be doing like the strength stuff, so we'll get some weight circuits going, all that sort of stuff. We'll be giving out sort of like monthly recipe books with all like healthy meals and all their calories and nutritional values on it and stuff like that.
Nice.
We'll work out all their nutrition stuff for them.
Personally based,
So we'll give them like a goal for calories and stuff like that, and get them on MyFitnessPal so they can track what they're eating, and then they can use the recipe book that they can just scan. So if they make the recipe, they can scan it straight onto MyFitnessPal, puts in all the calories automatically, all that sort of stuff. And then as I say, we're gonna have fun with it. So we're gonna book out a little bar in Leeds for the last night, get suited up, do some awards. Got some really good prizes as well, which is good. So for this one, we've gone first place, gonna get a £500 booking.com voucher, which is pretty good prize, and then sort of cash prize second, and then some free 1-to-1 sessions with me and P as third place. So should be good. Yeah, it'd be sick. Like I said, I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's gonna be good fun.
Yeah, that's nice, especially that you personalise it. That's my big bugbear with stuff that's online nowadays. It's like here's a plan, and it's just for everyone. Yeah, but it's not for everyone, is it? Like this guy weighs 200 pounds. He's like 100 pounds, and you know you can't eat the same stuff. You can't do the same stuff, and so that's great. Like, people are gonna form a habit. 6 weeks, right?
Yeah.
So if you want to get in there, form a habit, pick up some good stuff, track your calories, mindful eating, accountability.
That's it.
You're going to do some mindset stuff with them, maybe?
Yeah,
I
was thinking of it as well. So we'll probably end like some of the strength sessions with a little bit of that sort of stuff as well. So, but just like when it's a tough session, that's going to be mentally hard anyway. So that's going to build up the robustness mentally anyway. So, but all personalised. So we'll give them their own personalised sort of calorie target rather than just sort of saying, right, 2,000 calories for everyone. So that's a sort of thing. But it'll be good. And hopefully it sort of grows over the next few months. I think first one's going to start mid-September, something like that. So should be good.
Yeah, so we'll wrap up. It was like over a year since you came on. Before over a year. It actually doesn't feel like any time at all. So killed it since then. What's the next 12 months going to look like for you? Yeah,
I think as well, it's important to say you guys have smashed it as well. Like, when I see you guys, how far you've come in the year as well, following you guys, it's kind of like, right, they're smashing it. I need to up my game a bit more as well.
Thank you.
That's how it works, and I think it's important to say it. But for me, as I said, like my end goal is just to be the best in the world at what I do. That's literally where my head's at. Like, I don't want anything less than that. And that's what my target is. But next 12 months, I'd just like to just build my reputation a bit more around the country and stuff like that. Like, getting a really, really good stable of fighters now. So just continue what I'm doing, have all these little other projects going off and stuff like that. And as I said, my aim now is for the next 3 years is to really put a graft in and just build an empire, like an absolute empire that's like elite step and people know who it is. And just so then at like in my 30s and the foundations are based, I can kind of sort of, I can't remember the saying I was going to say now, but you know, just and just sort of get everything in place now and just grind hard and just know sort of in a few years that I'll have everything in place to really sort of push on from there.
Yeah, nice.
Well, that's for part 2 locked off, man. And that sounds like there's going to be a part 3 very soon.
This time next year we'll be back, won't we?
Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely.
If people want to find you, they want to find your page, they want to hit you up for the camp coming up, where can they go? So
mostly I'm on Instagram. I am on Elite Step on Facebook, but elite.step on Instagram is probably the best place to find me, get all your content. I'm going to start doing some more, like we were talking about on the journey here, do some more like Instagram TV stuff and try and get some more content out over starting this week. So yeah, drop me a follow there.
No. And we'll come down to the gym.
Yeah, no, we
put
need
us through your
we
paces.
need to get that sorted
We're
out.
gonna get it booked in before we leave here. We'll
it'll be good fun. We'll get the cameras rolling, and we'll see you at your worst.
Yeah, let's go. All right.
Thanks again, Reiss.
Yeah, nice.